Bye. The City Council, Local Redevelopment Authority Boards are now in session. Today is Tuesday, July 23rd, 2024. Please rise.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please remain standing.
Let's pray. Father, Lord, we just thank you once again for this opportunity to gather in these chambers for this council. Lord, we recognize that you're in the room with us as we've just cited one nation under God. Tonight, I'm just asking, Lord, that you would give us that discipline of celebration, Lord, would be in the room, that we're able to celebrate and to cheer each other on and the accomplishments that's been made, Lord, to recognize them and moving forward as a great city. And then also, Lord, we're asking for your wisdom when it comes time for business this evening. That, Father, we'll walk out of here unified, knowing that together we're stronger and there's much more to come, good things ahead. In Jesus' name, amen.
Please be seated. This is slick. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Uribe?
Here.
Councilmember Hernandez?
Here.
Councilmember Barbara Martinez?
Here.
Vice Mayor Jones Cruz?
Here.
Mayor O'Brien?
Here. There'll be no changes to the agenda. Any council authority member or staff who has a direct conflict of interest on any scheduled agenda item to be considered is to declare their conflict at this time. Seeing none, we're going to move on to presentations, starting with 7.1 Proclamation National Health Center Week, August 4th through the 9th. Is Yamilet here? Oh, there she is. And is David here too? Come on. You're the important one. Come on, all of you come. Everybody. Those of you who are in healthcare, come on up. All right, hi, how are you doing? Oh, no, sir. I do. Okay. All right, thank you. City of Riverbank Proclamation, National Health Center Week 2024. Whereas over 50 years, community health centers have provided high-quality, affordable, comprehensive primary and preventative health care in our nation's medically underserved communities, delivering value to and having, you okay? And having a significant impact on America's healthcare system. Whereas community health centers are a critical element of the health system, serving rural, suburban, frontier, and urban populations, and often providing the only accessible and dependable source of primary care in their communities. Nationwide, community health centers serve one of every 5 residents in rural communities. Whereas every day, community health centers develop new approaches to integrating a wide range of services beyond primary care, including oral health, vision, behavioral health, pharmacy services, and meet the needs of challenges of their communities. Health centers have more than doubled their behavioral health workforce in the last decade to meet America's growing need for behavioral health services. Whereas health centers have more than doubled their behavioral workforce in the last, well, I said that already, I think it's doubled. Whereas community health centers are governed by patient majority boards, ensuring that patients are engaged in their own healthcare decisions. During National Health Center Week, we celebrate the legacy of American community health centers and their vital role in shaping the past, present, and future of American healthcare systems. Now, therefore, let it be proclaimed by the City Council of the City of Riverbank that August 4th through the 10th, 2024, National Health Center Week within the City of Riverbank And I encourage all Americans to take part in this week by visiting their local health center and celebrating the important partnership between America's community health centers and the communities that they serve. Signed today by me. And sir, I'm going to thank you very much for what you do. Yamilet, you and your team are such a big importance in this community. And I would like you to say a couple words, whether it's you or Yamilet or one of you. Let's get the Riverbank in to come on up. Come on up. You're the one, you're here. Okay.
I just want to thank everybody. I want to thank everybody here in this room. I know that Riverbank was such a small town and we've grown into a big city now. And there's great things. And one of those great things that there is Golden Valley Health Centers, because we've grown to help each other as well. And I know this town since I was 8 years old when I migrated from Mexico, and I know it has great things. So I cannot talk better about Riverbank. Thank you.
Definitely. Thank you. And the theme this year is powering communities through caring connections. And I could definitely say that that's one of the things that we do with our city. And we really do appreciate all the support that we gotten throughout the years. We will continue to provide high quality healthcare for all at our Golden Valley Health Centers, and want to encourage, like you mentioned, Mayor and City Council, to come out and visit us and celebrate with us during National Center Week. And thank you so very much for this proclamation.
Okay, we're going to do photo op, and I'd like to City Council come on down. We're all gonna go behind. Very close together.
Fine looking group of people, right?
All right, to continue on, there's a group of individuals who are just celebrating their youth again, 71 years of age, which are youngsters in some people's eyes. And these are the first graduating class of Riverbank. They started in 1967, if I'm not mistaken. They were the first all the way through 4 years and graduated in 1971. So they are celebrating this year their 71st birthday, 71 at 71, right? All right. So I'm going to do this my way. I get to. You know, my father's most of you. So we're going to do it my way. So Diane and you and your group, come on up here. I'm not going to read every one. I'm just going to read one. And I hear in October we'll have a barbecue. And I will present each one your certificates. Everybody. Okay. This is the class of 71.
Come on, somebody.
Now you are the, Robert. I rearranged your, library, in 1967, took the wrestling mats out, so you could start putting books in. So- Oh, I did. All right, first fully graduating class of Riverbank High School. And oh, no, yeah, part of, I'm sorry. The others could not make it. I hope they make it to the barbecue. Why did you say no? All right, you can tell that they were serious like they are now in their studies. So in special recognition, presented to Riverbank High School graduating class of 1971. The City Council of the City of Riverbank hereby recognizes the first graduating class of Riverbank High School, established a legacy of academic excellence, leadership, and camaraderie. We celebrate their historic achievements and the foundation they laid for future generations. Signed today by me, July 23rd. And you know, that's starting off at the very beginning. You had a lot of decisions to make, the colors of your shirts, the mascot, and how you ran your school. And that was probably as significant as the first president of the United States having to set up his cabinet. Well, maybe not as crucial, but as important. So I'd just like to, Diane, would you like to come up and say a couple of words? And then we'll have a photo op with the city council. Diane, thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, Richard, for honoring us. And we're pretty nostalgic about our Riverbank High School years that we spent there and Riverbank in general. So we really, really appreciate this. And we're all kind of just glad to be here. Thank you.
Thank you very much. All right, so we're going to have photo op opportunity. Oh, yeah, and we still have, Alvarado Guild representative, senior, field rep. Come on.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Narendra Bahia, and I'm a district representative with Senator Marie Alvarado Gill. So on behalf of Senator Marie Alvarado Gill in the California State Senate, I would like to honor and recognize the first graduating class of Riverbank High School. The class of 1971 established a legacy of academic and excellence. As we celebrate the class of 1971, let us also celebrate the history and milestones achieved and the legacy left behind. And you all still look fabulous, so congratulations.
Overlap, you're all friends here. Overlap.
Hug each other.
Overlap.
Yeah, that's good. One, two, three.
Photogenic, very photogenic.
Thank you very much.
Oh, Clinton wanted to.
President of the class of 71.
First off, I want to tell the mayor that he's correct when he said that he was going to run the show. He took half of my speech right off the bat. I just wanted to thank the city council, honorable mayor, and we're really distinguished tonight to be honored by having Mr. Reduco, one of our teachers in the very beginning. He's there the whole tenure that we were there. There were many, many more, including Mr. Francis O'Brien, the father of Mayor O'Brien, and I get goosebumps because the man touched my heart way back then in such a powerful way at our 10-year reunion. He came up and he said, "You should go into politics, Clint," which I guess is obvious. Here's his son, you know, and he's running the show like he's supposed to, just like Francis did. We were really honored. We were a special class. And I say that tonight because we were there and ratified the Riverbank Alumni Association, which was after we had graduated. We were there in the beginning when we ratified the Constitution for the Block R. We were there in the beginning when we had the convention, our freshman year, and all of the candidates were there in that nice little small but big gym to us because we were freshmen then. And we were honored to be able to vote on the colors, maroon and silver. We so proudly put on our chests, and on the back of our FFA jackets, it said Riverbank, California. Because always when we went to the first few years to a outing, whether it was to a football game or to another function, it had Oakdale Joint Union High School. And everybody would always greet us and say, "Well, I thought we were playing Riverbank. Who's this?" Because we didn't get a bus that had our name on it for a few years after we had been there. So we endured. And that's because we have the spirit of the Bruin that we voted on in the beginning and said, we want to be the Bruins. We want to be the Block R. We want to be this great class. And I'm so honored to be a part of it today. And I want to thank you, Mr. Mayor. What an honor this is. Thank you for coming out, Mike. Mr. Reduca, we really love you. We have had so many good teachers. We had so many good, and I could just go on and on. Ron Peterson and Mrs. Graham and Al Kenny, and I could just keep going and going and going because they were so good to instill in us what made us become what we are. Thank you for my classmates. Thank you. God bless.
All right, introduction, Beckie Robbins, Assistant Finance Director.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. It's my
So
pleasure
let's
tonight.
pause for a moment.
Oh, okay.
We're lightening up the load.
That's a hard act to follow.
It is. One before you got in here.
Okay, Mayor and Council, tonight it's my pleasure to introduce to you our new Assistant Finance Director, Beckie Robbins. She comes to us from Escalon, where she spent almost 16 years there. She worked her way up through the ranks there. She oversaw payroll, HR, utilities, accounts payable. So she walks into our office ready to supervise and help us move things along in our finance department. And I'm very happy that she came and joined us. Our previous assistant finance director had gotten another job offer and left us. So we were fortunate to be able to pull Beckie from our eligibility list. And we welcome her with big arms, and she's been great so far. So I will let her come up and say a few things for herself.
Good evening, Mayor and council members. I just wanted to take a minute to express my excitement to have been invited to join the City of Riverbank team. It was my 11th day today, and management and staff have been very welcoming. So I look forward to my time here, hopefully many years here. I can retire from here. So thank you for the warm welcome.
Thank you.
You are a Riverbank graduate.
Yes, my husband would have loved this. Yeah.
Thank
Well,
you very
and
much.
welcome. Public comment. At this time, members of the public may comment on any item not appearing on the agenda and within the subject matter jurisdiction of the City Council LRA Board. Individual comments will be limited to a maximum of 3 minutes, or as stated and time cannot be yielded to another person under state law. Matters presented during the public comment period cannot be discussed or acted upon.
Beckie Holt.
Council members and Mayor O'Brien. My name is Vicki Holt and I'm the branch manager at the Riverbank Library. And I want to let you know what's going on at the library. If you're hot, we're a cooling center and we're open till 8 o'clock this whole week. Well, Monday through Thursday. We have one more story time this session, next Tuesday at 11 o'clock. And then we will resume back in September. So we have August off. The book club is meeting next Tuesday afternoon at 4 p.m. This month, we're discussing the book Mrs. Poe by Lynn Cullen. And next month, the book will be The Good Earth by Pearl S. Buck. So we have extra copies of both books if you want to come by the library and pick one up and join our lively discussion. Modesto Children's Museum is coming to the library for 2 science-related activities for children. The first one is on Wednesday, July 31st at 1:30, and it's called Coaster Creators, and it's recommended for grades 2nd through 8th grade. They're going to learn how to make roller coasters with tracks and marbles. The second one is the following week, Tuesday, August 6th at 2 p.m., and this one is called Junior Engineers, and that one is geared for preschool to 2nd grade. They will learn how to build towers, energize light bulbs, program robots out of recycled materials. So registration is required, and you can find the registration at stanislaslibrary.org. The next Master Garden class is Salad Bar Gardening, Saturday, August 10th at 2 p.m. So if you want to learn how to grow lettuce, Swiss chard, spinach, root vegetables like carrots and beets, radishes, even broccoli and cauliflower, and they're bringing free seeds to the participants. All these programs at the library are free to the public, and it's because of our 1/8 of a cent dedicated sales tax that we're able to offer these services. So come by the library and visit us.
Thank you. Any questions of her? Shall we move on?
Ms. Conrado.
Hello, good evening, Mayor O'Brien and City Council members and staff. My name is Karen Conrado. I live on Hogue Road. I'm here tonight to let you know that I oppose the proposed Riverwalk project. Tonight, I'd like to make 2 points that may seem obvious, but I want to point them out so that people can be more consciously aware of them. The first item is that the developers appear to be spending a lot of money to push this project through. The cost increases as anticipated and unanticipated issues occur, such as translations needed or environmental studies done, etc. I want to remind everyone that they are willing participants in this endeavor, and they have made and make these choices. My point here is that as a city council member, to watch these expensive climb, I would guess that would put unconscious pressure on everyone. It would be easy to say, look at how much time and effort and money they have put into this project. But I say this to put it out in the open, that that is their choice and the gamble they made when they tried to develop this pristine river bottom land. I hope by pointing out the obvious, it removes a possible unspoken obligation to be fair to the consultants and developers, especially since fair has not been modeled by them, in my opinion. Which brings me to the second point I wish to make tonight. These consultants and developers have not played fair. Their behavior has been, in my mind, unethical. They push to the boundaries of the limits of the law. For example, homeowners surrounding the property Riverwalk project area were not initially or in a timely fashion informed of this project. And apparently the owners of the properties on the north side of the Stanislaus River were not informed of the proposed project either until very recently. Another example is that they held separate meetings for the Park Ridge, River Heights, and the Hogue Road, McHenry Avenue residents, thus creating a potential division or at least a lack of communication between us. I personally would hesitate to do business with someone who apparently puts winning above decency. Be careful who you do business with. I hope I did not offend anyone with my remarks, but I felt it important to bring up these issues. Thank you again for this opportunity to express my opinion. Thank you.
Thank you. Next.
Ms. Gretchen Brown?
Good evening, City Council members, and thank you so much for the opportunity to speak. My name is Gretchen Brown. I moved to Riverbank in 1969, and I spent my formative years here. And I recently moved back to Riverbank to my childhood home. And I'm here to give my opposing views on the Riverwalk project. This project, in the location proposed, in my opinion, is a big mistake. Yes, it's going to give Riverbank a wider sphere of influence, and I applaud that. And it will also enlarge the tax base, but I think that the ultimate cost isn't worth it. I'm sure you've heard all the arguments against development regarding destruction of prime agricultural and riparian land. I'm the daughter of 4 generations of farmers, and I will say that prime agricultural farmland is finite and limited in area, whereas homes and businesses can be built elsewhere and on much less productive land. You've also heard the arguments regarding the significant added traffic. I have a friend who is a traffic planner, and she told me always to figure about at least 2 vehicles per household. And using that figure, this development will add approximately 10,000 vehicles to our roads. I also have additional concerns specifically about a lack of affordable housing planned and the urban sprawl that the business portion will add. I've got to say, I've been against hopscotch development for years. The proposal is a classic case of this. I suggest we fill in the land we've already got within the city limits and adjacent, and don't give in to big name money and pressure. There's a lot of land here in Riverbank inside and adjacent to the city. Actually, I'm here to primarily talk about water. I live in a development that relies on well water for household usage and irrigation. We have 2 wells that service our area. We had our water levels measured in 2016 and 2017, and again in 2022. In that short span of time, our well's water level dropped 25 feet. A 25-foot drop in water levels in 6 short years for our development. That's significant in anybody's book. So the EPA estimates that the average American family uses about 300 gallons of water a day. The proposed Riverwalk development calls for a minimum of 2,400 houses. Figuring that the average home uses 300 gallons of water daily, this development's homes alone will use over 720,000 gallons of water a day, adding up to well over 263 million gallons of water a year. And I'm wondering, based on my experience, where's this water going to come from?
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity to speak.
Lydia?
Good evening, Mayor, council members. My name is Olivia Rambula. I own Timeless Real Estate here in Riverbank. And tonight I'm speaking on behalf of your Riverbank Chamber of Commerce. I am speaking to invite you guys to some of the events that we have coming up. First off, we have an event coming up on Thursday and the 25th. It's going to be a Zoom meeting. It's going to teach you how to use your business or use social media to grow your business. I do not have paper copies tonight, so you can definitely get all that information on our Riverbank Chamber of Commerce website. So that's from 12 to 1. Bring your lunch. It's a lunch and learn. We're starting our first of our lunch and learn series. So if you guys can join us for that, there's no excuse because it's on Zoom and it can be anywhere you're at. And then we do have on the August 1st, we have a multi-chamber mixer. The multi-chamber mixer is going to be held actually in Modesto, and it's going to be at the Howard Prep Training Center on Stoneham Road. That's going to be from 5:30 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. that night. So please come out and support so we can represent Riverbank there all together. And then on behalf of council, there's a need. We do have a need, and it is a need we want to work with you guys We want to work with you because we are not collaborating enough when it comes time for all of our ribbon cuttings. Just recently, we had a ribbon cutting at Costco, and it was not well executed between both parties, and we want to make sure that we're collaborating together. So I want to make sure that we have representation, and we would like to get the information for the new businesses that are coming, whether it's via permits or licensing or their business license. If we can get that information from you guys, so we can work, and then you guys can use this as a resource. We can give you guys a packet or whatever you need, our application, so that those people who are trying to get their business license here can collaborate together, so we can be all part of the like our ribbon cuttings and getting them part of our Chamber of Commerce. We want it to grow. We want Riverbank to be strong, but it takes all of us together for that. So we all were in attendance at Costco, not to say that we weren't, but when it came time to do the ribbon cutting, we were asked to, those who were there on early, were asked to kind of step aside a little bit. And so it feels kind of bad when we're trying to grow together. We just want to make sure that we're all present together going forward on that one. So you guys can support us with that. We really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
We have one on Zoom, Mayor. Ms. Agers, can you please unmute?
Yes, can you hear me now?
Yes, please go ahead.
Thank you. Jamie Agers, 7730 McHenry Avenue, Modesto, outside the city of Riverbank, but within the proposed Riverwalk project area. I am speaking tonight about the signatures we've gathered for the ballot initiative. You may be aware that we have an appointment tomorrow with the city clerk to turn in the signatures we've gathered, which total over 1,900 signatures. And of those, well over 1,500 are valid. And so we expect those to be calculated tomorrow after the meeting and turned over to the County Register of Voters. That's well in excess of what we submitted last year. So we're very confident that we'll be making the ballot this time. And you'll be needing to take an agenda item to the council to certify that in the near future. Thank you.
Mayor, council, we did receive a written comment submitted this morning by Riverbank resident, Mr. Gary Pearson, regarding his opposition to the Riverwalk project. It will be included in the record. And that is all for comments.
Thank you. Now we proceed to the consent calendar. Item 9.1, waive readings. Item 9.2, approval of City Council and Local Redevelopment Authority Board minutes for June 25th, 2024. 9.3, acceptance of Crossroad Elementary School raised crosswalks project and authorization to file notice of completion. Item 9.4, authorization of out-of-state travel request to have finance staff attend the Caswell training in Provo, Utah. Item 9.5, resolution to award and authorize city manager to enter into professional services agreement for construction management and inspection services with NV5 Inc. for the State Highway 108 Calendar Avenue reconstruction and crosswalk projects. So anyone wishing to pull any of the consent items?
I don't want to pull, but I do have a comment for 9.3, if I may. I'm glad to see that we are taking care of the raised crosswalks, but whenever funding is available, I am requesting a lighted crosswalk on Homewood and Novi. We do have one on Squire Wells, but if we get one on Homewood and Novi, it's just a straight path for the students to walk to school, to the crossroads. That was my comment. Thank you. Whenever funding is permitted.
Any further comments? Okay. Anyone from the public? Seeing none, bring it back for consideration.
I'll make a motion to approve the consent calendar as stated.
I second.
We have a motion to approve and second on the consent calendar. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Uribe?
Yes.
Councilmember Hernandez?
Yes.
Councilmember Barbara Martinez?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Jones Cruz?
Yes.
Mayor O'Brien?
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
Public hearing, item 10.1. First reading by title only and introduction of proposed ordinance amending section 120.60 and 120.62, and adding section 120.63 to chapter 120 Cannabis Regulations of Title 11 Business Regulations of Riverbank Code of Ordinances related to the appeal of administrative penalties for cannabis regulations.
Mayor and council, our Community Development Director, Joshua Mann, will provide this report.
Thank you. Good evening, Mayor, members of the City Council. Tonight I have before you item 10.1, which is an update to our cannabis ordinance. First, I just kind of wanted to walk you through some background of the ordinance itself. Our cannabis ordinance was adopted August 22nd, 2017. This basically established Chapter 120, which is the cannabis regulations within the city code. These cannabis regulations, they govern our cannabis dispensaries, both personal and commercial cultivation, deliveries, manufacturing, and testing facilities. This chapter also established provisions dealing with appeals and enforcements of cannabis. Since 2021, we've had at least 7 instances where residential properties were being used for illegal grow operations. Some of these were large scale. In fact, when enforcing these illegal grow operations, we ran into some that were in excess of 200 to 500 plants, resulting in fines between $296,000 and $527,000. These illegal grow operations, they typically, obviously, they do not apply for a cultivation permit through our ordinance. And as such, are not subject to the appeals process under section 120.60. And this section strictly applies to permittees that have an active cannabis cultivation permit. Excuse me. Instead, these illegal grow operations are being cited under section 120.61A, which considers them basically a public nuisance. These citations are then appealable under our public nuisance chapter, which is section 98.18. Given that these illegal grow operations involve substantial penalties and substantial resources to investigate, it's now time to update Chapter 120 of the Municipal Code. This will basically provide a clear procedure for appeals. It will ensure that the appeals of all future citations issued under these regulations follow the same procedure, and will also clarify the cost recovery procedures. In summary, there's basically 4 changes that are being proposed tonight. The first of which would establish procedures for filing appeals, conducting appeal hearings, and issuing orders after the hearings. This part will include paying a deposit similar to how we process our firework appeal violations, and also helps address the cost of holding the administrative hearing itself. The second part of this amendment will also require that any appeals would be heard by a neutral hearing officer. A neutral hearing officer, such as an attorney, is better suited to address these complex legal issues and other items that come up during the appeal process. It would also allow the city attorney to advocate on behalf of the city. The third component, it would modify the definition of a responsible party. This would be amended to also include property owners in addition to tenants. Some of the past appeals we've seen have raised arguments on if the property owner or the tenant themselves is responsible for the violations. Property owners sometimes have blamed their tenants or point to a lease provision that prohibits the tenant from conducting the illegal grow. The final portion of the amendment, the city would be able to go back and recover attorney fees. This section will clarify the cost recovery provision to ensure the city recovers any costs incurred, including attorney fees. And also modifies the definition, as I mentioned, of responsible party to include property owners and or landowners. In terms of CEQA evaluation, this ordinance amendment is not considered a subject or a project under CEQA, and therefore is considered exempt. In terms of the city council action tonight, the city council may choose to take any of the following proposed actions. One, introduce the ordinance for its first reading. Two, continue the item until a later meeting and provide direction to staff on any potential changes. Or three, reject the ordinance amendment outright as proposed. That concludes my presentation. I'd be happy to answer any questions you may have. Thank you.
Any questions?
Hi, Josh, just one. If you could back up to bullet point 3, just for clarity. So that one right there, so that would supersede a tenant agreement, is it, if I'm reading it correctly?
Well,
If approved, is that what I'm understanding?
yeah, so we've had issues in the past, and Tom may be able to speak a little more detail on this, but we've had issues in the past where a property owner is basically blaming the tenant and saying that there is a provision in the rental agreement or lease agreement that says they cannot, partake in any illegal activities. So I just know it's been an issue in the past. I don't have a specific instance to provide you. It was a little bit before my time here. Tom may have additional information on that.
Parties. Some evidence that it's not the tenant's fault, because I was talking to an attorney in court today, he said that never works when you guys are talking about these hundreds of thousands of dollars of fines. So trying to say responsible party specifically includes them in the law makes it a little stronger for us when we're in front of that professional hearing officer. A little different than what we've had in the past.
And there was also one case where the property owner was being paid quite handsomely in cash, but knew nothing about the grows.
Sure.
Any further comments, questions? Okay, this is a public hearing. I open it up to the public.
Yeah, Rambula, Timeless Real Estate here in Riverbank and owner of a house, and I have tenants in another house. So I just want to clarify that if something like that was to happen where we adopted this, that the property owner who does their regular due diligence and checking out the house and does have a contract saying that the tenants are not allowed to, engage in criminal or activity that's against the law. Just want to make sure that I will not be held accountable and people in my position. Just as far as that goes, I just want to make sure that it's defined that not all property owners are engaging in stuff that is illegal or allowing it.
Any further comments? Public input? I close the public hearing, bring it back. Tom, can you answer that one question?
Pardon me. That is exactly what it does. It does make the owner responsible.
So you're responsible, even if you do your due diligence and they start a tremendous grow inside your house.
Or on the property. So it may not necessarily be inside the home, but it could also be on the property.
And our position on a factual basis is if there's something substantial like that going on, if you did some continued diligence, you would know. So that's the city's position and the basis for proposing this change.
Okay. Any questions, comments? Okay, we have 3.
Well, I was just gonna say that this forces the property owner to revise their tenant agreements if they don't have anything in there like that, so everybody needs to be aware.
So Tom, when you say due diligence, what would you recommend to the property owners? Once a year? What's kind of the recommendation? Sorry, I'm trying to wrap my head around this one.
We don't have a recommendation, but utilities are often, sky high when you have these operations. There are some things you can see the windows are blacked out and there are just certain signs. Again, it's on a case by case basis. It doesn't mean that every time we cite somebody, we're going to find the owner responsible.
And if they're doing their due diligence, they most likely would not.
And that would come out in the hearing.
Right.
And there's also an ordinance so that everybody knows that there's an ordinance that you can have 6 plants inside the home. That's okay.
And I think the cases that we've had and has come to us were like huge operations where if you're not aware, you're not involved.
Okay, we have 3 actions we can take: do nothing, approve this for continued hearing in the next, and what was the third one? Modified?
Reject it, modify it, or move forward to
Move
the
forward.
second hearing.
I'll make a motion that we accept the item 10.1 as stated.
And I'll second it.
Okay, we have a motion to approve the item 10.1 for second hearing, and a second. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Uribe,
Yes.
Councilmember Hernandez,
Yes.
Councilmember Barbara Martinez,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Jones Cruz,
Yes.
Mayor O'Brien.
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0 to the second reading.
Item 10.2, public hearing for proposed solid waste rate increase.
Mayor and Council, Tammy Alcantar, our Assistant City Manager, will provide this report.
Good evening. So tonight we are considering the inflationary adjustment to our solid waste rates to be effective September 1st, which would be in our November 1st billing. So Jilton has provided waste management services to the city of Riverbank for more than 40 years. The current contract began in April 22 and will expire in April of 2028. April 12th of 22, a Prop 218 hearing was held, and the current rates were adopted with an increase based on additional services required by SB 1383. Section 9.1 of our current agreement identifies that the city will adjust the maximum charges made to customers annually, and those increases shall be based on the Consumer Price Index for all urban consumers, known as the CPI, published by the U.S. Department of Labor for the San Francisco, Oakland, San Jose, California statistical area. Based on the previous 12-month index, the analysis will be from May to April, and the increase shall not exceed 5%. So staff has looked up that CPI increase, and for 2024, it is the 3.8%, which is being recommended tonight. So these would be our new residential rates. On the screen there is the current monthly rate, the proposed monthly rate, and then what those increases are. So in a 30-gallon cart for regular service, it would be 81 cents, and 90 is 93 cents. The organics cart would be 47, and then additional carts of any kind would be 61 cents. And then seniors are looking at a 61-cent increase for the 30-gallon, a 70-cent for 90, 47 for a 90 organics, and then the additional cart was 53 cents. So we've also provided the commercial bin rates. These are technically billed through Jilton themselves directly, but these rates apply to those that are within the city limits. And those increases are presented up there. There are some additional, the larger bins and the additional services. So what does this mean to our customers? For a typical single-family residential, they will experience an annual increase of $16.74, or that's about $279, $280 per billing cycle. And then for our seniors, it's a $12.97 annual increase, or about $2.16 per billing cycle. And then just an update from Jilton, and Jilton staff is here as well if we have any questions of them. But Jilton is enhancing its transfer station to comply with the SB 1383 regulations, focusing on safety and efficiency. Recent upgrades include pouring 2 large cement slabs to expand sorting capacity. They've acquired an Ecotech and Phoenix screeners along with a barrel type screener to screen materials before sorting. They've also added another picking station to separate contaminants from organics and recyclables. To facilitate material movement, Jilton purchased 2 forklifts and 2 loaders. And these improvements aim to surpass the SB 1383 diversion requirements while ongoing operations continue. So with that, the recommendation tonight is that the city council consider adopting the resolution approving the 3.8% increase in the rates for the solid waste disposable services. And if you have any questions, myself or.
Questions, please?
I do. Of course. Okay, so I just want to explain, if you can explain to the public, why we use the what do we call it?
The organics.
No, not the organics, but the rate increased in the from
Oh, the
the
CPI.
CPI from the locations that it is, from San Francisco.
Francisco and
Why do we use that one
Wait,
instead of locally?
because there is none locally. That is the closest location to our area that we have available to us. They do not have anything for the Central Valley that would, that enables us to compare.
And then just also clarification that if a, well, first of all, the word cart, that's your trash can. So it's not that it's a cart or anything like that, but that's what they call it. And then if someone wanted to go from a 90-gallon down to a 30-gallon, that is permissible.
It is permissible. We do ask that residents maintain if they make a change for 6 months before we change it back.
That's it. Thank you.
What age does the senior discount come into effect?
I believe it's 62 or 62 or 65. Now I'm gonna question myself. I think it's 62.
Can't wait.
So I just got one question. This might be for Richard or staff. So I know in the Modesto, they have like a shared garbage service that they can kind of group up and use that program. Is that something that maybe Riverbank could maybe bring in? I've heard some interest in that, so I don't know if that's a possibility.
I'm not familiar with that. Are
Mr.
you,
Chilton,
Richard?
can you enlighten us? We haven't done public hearing yet, so that's,
Okay.
go ahead, please. This is information before.
It's a very limited and restricted procedure that they have. It's gotta be kind of like a special circumstances to allow that kind of thing because it does cause problems. But it's out there.
Okay. None. This is a public hearing. Don't raise your hand, just come on up and speak.
Olivia Rambo, Timeless Real Estate, president of Riverbank. I understand that these increases, although it seems like it is a small increase in $16, but then currently for those of us, it seems like in the last few years, it's jumped up tremendously for those of us who have been here for a while. And I get it, time happens, the economy and all that good stuff. But it's 3.8 or whatever percent it is today. And then what is it in the next couple of years? Another 3.8 or 5 to the point to where all the increases, not just the water and sewer and that, there's more than that and everything. Everybody says inflation and I get it, but the checks aren't growing for the residents. So I am asking that we do not do an increase and that we hold off on that. And we have a lot of people who are just, they don't have the money. Thank you.
Any other public comments? Seeing none, I close public hearing, bring it back for consideration.
Okay, so I will make a motion to approve item 10.2.
I second the motion.
For a motion to approve item 10.2 and a second, roll call, please.
Councilmember Uribe,
Yes.
Councilmember Hernandez,
Yes.
Councilmember Barbara Martinez, Vice Mayor Jones Cruz,
Yes.
Mayor O'Brien.
Yes,
Motion passes 4-0.
4-1. I can.
Motion passes 4-1.
New business, item 11.1, designation of voting delegate and alternates to attend the 2024 League of California Cities Annual Conference.
The mayor and council on October 16th through the 18th, the League of California Cities will be hosting their annual conference in Long Beach. We have all been invited to attend and we have all registered to attend, myself included and the assistant city manager. And during the conference, they do have an annual business meeting where they look at potential resolutions that are submitted by cities for ways that we can impact legislation that will enhance the city's ability to regulate itself and also be able to look at legislation that will enhance our ability to enforce certain rules and regulations throughout the state. And so in order to be able to be part of the business meeting, they do require that we appoint a voting delegate and up to 2 alternates. So tonight, the request from staff is that you nominate your voting delegate, who is the primary, and then assign at least 1 voting alternate in the event that the delegate is not able to do so. Now, we do have, as part of the Central Valley Executive Committee, representatives, Councilmember Hernandez is our primary and Councilmember Uribe is our alternate as part of that executive committee, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they have to be the voting delegate or the alternate in the event that they may not be able to attend the business meeting. Business meetings are held on Friday, which is the last day of the conference. They have moved that to a morning session rather than afternoon session, so you don't have to worry about having to stay over like many of us did in the past. So I will open it up to City Council for a discussion with regards to the voting delegate and as well as an alternate, at least 1 alternate preferred.
Okay, I would like to be the voting delegate.
Okay.
I have an alternate.
I'll be your alternate,
Thank you.
since everyone jumped in there. No second alternate?
Yeah, if needed, I can be a second alternate.
All right, so we have primary will be Councilmember Barbara Martinez. Alternates would be O'Brien and Hernandez. Any public comment on this? No comments on this. I can see why. All right, I'm bringing this back for consideration.
I'll make a motion that we accept the delegates as stated.
And I'll second it.
We have a motion for delegates as stated and a second. Roll call, please.
Councilmember Uribe,
Yes.
Councilmember Hernandez,
Yes.
Councilmember Barbara Martinez,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Jones Cruz,
Yes.
Mayor O'Brien.
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
All right, staff.
Just a couple of comments tonight. A reminder to both the city council and our residents that our housing element update workshop is next Wednesday, July 31st. That's going to be at 6:00 PM in the community center. This one is for residents and members of the public to provide feedback that could impact future policies that are set by the city council. Now, in August, there'll be a second meeting or workshop that's scheduled, and this one will be tailored to stakeholders like developers who build homes and affordable housing. So that will be scheduled for sometime in August. This Friday and Saturday, we have a free compost giveaway from 8 to 12 p.m. at 3134 Sierra Street. Residents should bring their own shovels, containers, or buckets to load their own material. And if you do bring a pickup truck, we do ask that they tarp their load to avoid it spilling into the street. Movies in the Park is this Saturday. It will be our last one for the season. We'll be showing the movie Matilda. The The movie starts at dusk. Bring your blankets, your chairs, and your snacks so that you can enjoy a movie with us. And then next Tuesday is the final, yes, probably mosquito repellent. Next Tuesday is going to be the final Tuesday market, scheduled from 6 to 9 here in downtown. August 2nd is the Riverbank night at the Modesto Nuts. The Nuts are planning a fun activity for council in between innings, so I look forward to seeing you all there. We'll share more details later about where we're going to meet, and the game does begin at 7. With school ready to start, the Teen Center is going to reopen its doors on August 5th. And with the heat, we do want to remind our residents that we do have cooling centers throughout the city. The community center is open Mondays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays from 9 to 1, and Fridays from 10 to 2. That is our senior meal period. Community pool is open from Monday through Friday from 1 to 3:30, and on Saturdays from 10 to 4 p.m. There is a $3 charge for that. And then our library, as Vicki mentioned earlier, is open Mondays and Tuesdays from 10 to 8, Wednesdays from 12 to 8, and Thursdays from 10 to 8. And they are not open on Fridays. And that is all from staff or from myself, but I'd like to invite Chief Ridenauer up for a message.
Just want to remind our residents and council, National Night Out. It's Tuesday, August 6th, just coming 2 weeks away from now. We'll be out at Silva Park from 5 to 8. We'll have free food, free sweets provided by some of our local nonprofits, a lot of special units from the sheriff's office, and it was a great turnout last year. We hope it's even greater this year. So hope to see you all there that night. Thank you.
That's it for staff?
Yes.
Councilmember Hernandez?
So I want to thank you, Olivia, and the chamber for all the time and energy you've been putting into the city and with our small businesses and businesses in general. And thank you for expressing your need for greater collaboration with the city, because that was heard. I didn't mention anything before, and if I can right now, the decision made today for landlords and the proceedings with cannabis is always in an effort to continue good relationships and active relationships with everyone in the city. And hopefully, you know, we continue the communication so there's greater understanding around why decisions are made with each of us. So the Riverbank Unified School District is doing a backpack drive, I think on August 6th as well, but I need to check the date now that you mentioned they're the same days, National Night Out. I'm working with the Central Valley Latino elected officials of California for delivery tomorrow of backpacks and the Veterans in Action nonprofit for hopefully a total of 100 backpacks for Riverbank Unified this next week. So Riverbank Unified is accepting backpacks and school supplies until August 6th.
Thank you. Councilmember Uribe?
Thank you, Mayor. So first of all, I want to give a shout out to Chief. Thank you for kind of updating me on everything 4th of July, all the citations. I won't go into the details there. Very impressive, the technology that's being used there. The information that's there, I think, should be shared, and I know you're going to be working on getting me some of that information so we can share with residents real concerns that we have, and I want to make sure that that's being put out. I have been meeting religiously because we've been meeting Sundays with a group of an alliance of local electeds. We've been meeting with senators, CEOs. We've met with the Cal Matters Chief Executive Officer, Neil Chase. So they got some AI tools. It's called Digital Democracy. Kind of tracks everything you can think of, every dollar spent, every spoken word in public hearings. It's kind of designed to reveal like how decisions are made. And so I think it's super important as we're going into this election cycle. And the only other thing I'll mention is excited about the Modesto Nuts versus the Inland Empire 66ers. It is August 2nd. We're dubbing it Riverbank Night. We're taking over that day. So excited to see everybody there.
Thank you. Councilmember Barbara Martinez.
I wanted to thank the Riverbank community for attending our bike rodeo, Kids Health and Safety Annual Fun Fair. I think we had over 100 children, I know, students that were there. think everyone had a great time. I know I did. It was hot, but it was still a lot of fun. And also thank you to our community who donated bikes for us to raffle away. And we had 29 bikes that were given away. Plus there were prizes and giveaways from our vendors. And this year we had a scavenger hunt with the focus on bike safety. It was a lot of fun. News from the League of California Cities, Prop 36 is being supported because this measure creates a deterrent for repeat theft offenders and redirects some towards treatment rather than incarceration. Prop 4 would channel funding to mitigate the impacts of climate change and also increase funding to cities for funding stormwater capture and reuse, local water conservation programs, state and local wildfire prevention, and extreme heat mitigation. And I want to give recognition to our first responders of the fire department that are battling these fires and all this heat with their heavy equipment that they have to wear for their safety. So I just want to say, you know, from the bottom of my heart, thank you. And then thank you to everyone involved in our recognition for the Nonprofit of the Year for Central Valley Community Resources, for being nonprofit for District 4. And it was truly, truly an honor for all of us. And then thank you to everyone just being you and just stay safe in this heat. So thank you.
Thank you. Vice Mayor, can you beat that?
No, I have no comments for
Thank you
tonight.
being you. All right, thank you. I do want to congratulate Darlene and her nonprofit. That was a great honor. It was unfortunate the senator could not be there. But it was a good event, Darlene. Thank you. And we were told about a water level drop in for the wells. Ours haven't experienced that. Can we get a report on that? Because 24 feet is significant. And I think there may be a calculation of well, I just would like to have our report. Because if that's the amount of water that these homes are going to meet, we're going to have to cut the almond population down because it takes 1.1 gallon of water per one almond. And we do billions of almonds. So I don't know what the solution is. But we do need to grow, and we will determine where would be the best place. With that, we're going to go into closed session. Item 13.1, liability. Pursuant to Government Code Section 54961, claimants Bobby Bowling, Kalina Bowling, and Daisy Bowling. Agency claimed against the City of Riverbank. Item 13.2, liability claims. Pursuant to Government Code Section 54961, claimant John Foley. Agency claimed against the City of Riverbank. Is there anyone from the public wishing to make a comment on these two items before we go into closed session? Seeing none, we adjourn to closed session.
Do you remember him?
Yeah.
The guy who wanted Jill fired?
Report from closed session, item 14.1, report from closed session, item 13.1, liability claim in case of claimant Bowlings versus the city of Riverbank. The claim has been denied by a vote of 5-0. Item 14.2, report from closed session, item 13.2, claimant John Foley, agency against the city of Riverbank. The item has been denied by a vote of 5-0. At this time, that concludes the meeting. We will adjourn. Our next meeting is 13 August at, correction, I was reading that, August 27th at 6 p.m. Meeting adjourned.